Okay, so MrHappy has posted a video called my favorite top 5 favorite mounts, and I do see my favorite mount on the thumbnail, which is Ozma, the Demi Ozma mount from Baldessian Arsenal. For me, that is my absolute favorite mount in the game, for sure, because of the journey that's attached to it, because it's a souvenir of a really great time and a lot of fun that I had in this game, and it was not easy to get, so it's also flexing. It's a flex, but yeah, it's also really good memories in it too. Met so many nice people in Baldessian Arsenal, and I think back on that time extremely fondly. So I love, it's also just a super cool mount on its own. The mount is incredible. All right, so what are your favorite mounts? Also, I really like the Shiba mount, but I feel bad because it's cash shop. I feel bad about that one. I almost feel like I can't list that one as a fave, even though it is just so cute. Yeah, it's cash shop. Yeah, I know, but it's so cute. Shiba, baby, Shiba.
Hey everyone, MrHappy here.
Oh, there's a baby. Oh, cat.
The last several months, I've taken to the habit of writing all my video ideas down in a physical journal. That way, if I'm ever looking for a video idea, I can just reference that and say, do I want to make any of these ideas that I've got left in the tank?
I've got some. Let me check my video idea folder. Usually the video ideas that get stuck in the folder for a long time are not good ideas. That's why they never materialized into video. What's a really shitty idea that I had that's in this folder? What is hell like in FFXIV? We know that already. We have Party Finder. Zepla reenacts attack animations. The eyebrows rant in FFXIV. So was this supposed to be a video in which I rant about problematic eyebrows that are dumb? Is that right? Yeah. Wait, so what was this about reenacting the attack animations? Wait, so how's this supposed to be? Wait. So okay. You think this is a good idea? Okay. Second win. Okay, second win. Alright, that was pretty good. Alright, so pretty good ideas, actually. Pretty good video ideas.
Now, a lot of those you have had the pleasure of enjoying, but a lot of those, I don't know if you'll ever see them. Well, while I was looking at that list today, as I had to contemplate when I was actually going to release my Melee versus for Endwalker, I noticed an idea that said top 5 favorite mounts in Final Fantasy XIV.
Oh, the blue. Oh, God. How do you use this UI? It's so bright.
Originally, the idea got scrapped because, I don't know, it just seemed like too simple of an idea. However, when I saw that, I started actually thinking about it again. And I thought, you know what are my favorite mounts? Because I judge my favorite mounts quite a bit differently than I think most people do.
Oh, really?
So I decided to go ahead.
It's about flex potential. That's it. Flex. Demi Ozma, flexing. Ramuh from Savage. Demi Phoenix from Savage. That's 3. Amuro getting all jobs to level 80, all battle jobs. It's kind of a flex. Rathalos. It's not that easy. Well, it's not that hard. What's a better one? Regalia, because you can't get it anymore, so that makes it really cool and good.
And make that video. I'm going to be providing you with my top 5
Wait, you still
favorite mounts in
can't.
Final
Wait, did it turn it back on? Yeah, I did.
Fantasy
Okay,
14,
we're good.
And why? Now, like I said, I don't judge favorite mounts probably in the same way that a lot of players do. I've been playing MMOs for over 2/3 of my life at this point.
Look, I just saw MrHappy tweet that he has been playing Final Fantasy XIV for 10 years. In just over 5 months' time, I've been posting FFXIV content on YouTube for 10 years. Holy shit. Holy shit. 10 years. Holy shit. 2013 That's so nuts. Can you believe that? He's really like the father of FFXIV content creation. Wait, is he the daddy of FFXIV? I shouldn't have said that.
And so the way I value these digital pixels on the
should not have said
screen
that.
just maybe isn't the same as people with less attachment to them.
It's like instant regret.
Look at them and I think of how I obtain them, how they look, a number of different factors. So my choices might seem a little weird to a lot of you. And quite frankly, if I were to do it just on appearances, it would probably be a completely different list. Maybe one or two of them would survive. But
don't tell me 2013 was 10 years ago. You don't
way,
do not.
Let's get started with the list of my 5 favorite mounts. Number 5 is Twin Tanya. Now, this is a recruit a friend mount where you just need some gold feathers, I believe, in order to obtain it. Now, this one is a favorite for a number of reasons. One, because of my history with Twin Tanya. For those of you who weren't around back in 2.0, the first Coils of Bahamut was a hot mess. It wasn't defeated for basically 2 months, just before the end of October, by the Link Shell, or guild at the time, or free company, whatever term you'd like, Blue Garter. They were also the only team to beat it before it was officially nerfed, as there were tons of issues with it over those several months. Plenty of times it was taken completely offline due to glitches allowing it to be defeated without moving, and because of the game's innate 300 ms latency back during the patch 2.0, which was remedied in patch 2.1, it just was really hard to dodge the twister mechanic, especially with the way it was tuned. So, Twin Tanya has a bit of a deep-seated memory for me all the way back to those A Realm Reborn days. But it's also my favorite for one other reason, the method with which I actually obtained it. Okay. You see, Twin Tanya is obtained via recruit a friend, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
But I had only recruited 2 people to the game when Twin Tanya was around and did not have enough gold feathers in order to get it. I think I needed 5 more feathers, which was 1 more recruit. So, what do I know? I see there's a sale for Final Fantasy XIV's Mac version. $6 for A Realm Reborn.
That's a whole story.
What did I do? I recruited myself. That's right. I decided I'll make a new account. I'll register this Mac version for $6.
Oh my god!
I have very few cash shop mounts in Final Fantasy XIV. I have very few cash shop items as a whole, but I did spend $6.
Are you saying that you swiped for Twin Tanya? You spent $6 on this mount.
Get that Twin Tanya mount. So it worked. Loopholes. But either way, that's number 5.
Recruited yourself.
Now, number 4 is Nightmare. Admittedly, Nightmare isn't one of my favorite looking mounts. I'm not really a big fan of most of the...
It's like FFXIV players are so good at recruiting people to play the game. They can even recruit themselves to play again, even though they're already playing it.
Horse looks, they're okay. They're traditional fantasy, but I don't feel any attachment to the actual appearance of the Nightmare mount. That being said, it's in my top list because of the method in which I obtained it. It's one of my favorite stories to tell, and it's a really simple one at that.
Okay.
Now, back during patch 2.1, when Titan Extreme, Ifrit Extreme, and Garuda Extreme were all introduced, we also had the Nightmare mount introduced. It was a rare drop off any one of the 3, and much like mount farming nowadays, you really didn't see it all too often.
It's rare.
I had no aspirations to obtain this mount. I had already done dozens and dozens of runs and never even seen it appear. So it just wasn't even on my mind. Yeah. One day I get an invite from a free company mate says, hey, you want to come for this Titan Extreme real quick? I say, sure, I'm not really doing anything right now. I was just streaming at the time. We join, we go in, and I can't help but notice that one person pretty much dies almost immediately. I go, well, that's really strange. Then I think, wait, I don't know who this person is. I sure enough ask in my party chat, wait, are you guys selling this right now? It was pretty common back in the days to do guild sales for things like the Extreme Trials, and I still tried to have no part of it.
Somebody was sus. There was someone who wasn't really part of your team, and it was sus, so...
I was told, yes, this is indeed...
Did they get thrown off the platform?
A gil sale. They are, in other words, selling the content for a flat amount of gil from the individual. And I said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a part of this right now. Why didn't you tell me that before you invited me to this party?
Yeah.
They said, all right, we'll get somebody else after the next one. But we're in the middle of the run, so we decide to finish it up. We get the kill. And the Nightmare mount drops. And I go, all right, I'd assume that the person who's paying gil for this clear is also buying that. And they said, no, that's free roll. I rolled a 99, and then I left. Let's just say, well, that was my payment, I suppose, for actually going along with that one run.
You got paid to sell a clear? What? Oh, my God. So first you're telling us that you bought Twin Tanya with real money. And now you're saying that you got paid to sell a clear for Nightmare. Let me tell you my little story about Nightmare. I've been trying to get this mount for a really long time. And then one day, somebody who had not played the game in like years logs in to the FC. And we're like, oh my God, hey, oh my gosh, you're back. It's so good to see you. And they're like, yeah, what you guys up to? And we're like, oh, we're just farming for the Nightmare. And he's like, oh, can I come? And we're like, well, of course. Yeah, of course you can come. He comes in. The next run, it drops. And he wins. And he's like, thanks, guys. And he leaves the group. And then he logs out. And I literally never saw this dude again. Like, I have never seen the guy log in again since that day. So, like, I had never seen him log in. He logs in one day for like 10 fucking minutes to get into the run, get the Nightmare mount, and then log out and never return. Yeah.
So that's why Nightmare makes it on the list. Now, my top three
Giga chat.
I'm going to say a little more emotional. Number 3, not so much, but number 2 and number 1 are a little bit more emotional when it comes to stories for me. Number 3 is the Demi Ozma. Now, first of all, I do love the appearance of this mount. It transforms when you go into the air, and it transforms when you go underwater. I wish it had one more transformation, as the boss that we obtain it from, Proto Ozma in the Baldesion Arsenal, does have his spiky form.
Oh my God, it can't transform into this spiky while you're sitting there. What if it transforms into a spiky and... Well, actually, that might make the mount better.
Maybe they'll add it one day, but I sincerely doubt it. Just feels like a missed opportunity to not have this Baldesion Arsenal exclusive form from the mount that we get from the Baldesion Arsenal over in Eureka. But this one's on my top 5 list for another very simple reason. It's one of my few mounts that indicates an accomplishment within Final Fantasy XIV. I've often been on the cutting edge of raid content, but I've almost never been able to claim that I've been world first at something in Final Fantasy XIV. Titan Hard Mode, I believe, is my only true claim to fame, and that's because we brought 3 healers and just took it really, really slow. It was a very, very long kill. That being said, I would go on to be top 10 in most everything going forward until finally Baldesion Arsenal came out. Nobody really knew if it was to be taken seriously at all. It was the first content of its kind, and we went through quite a few days of going back and forth with a JP group trying to figure out who would beat it first. Well, fortunately, the many people that I had the pleasure of doing Baldesion Arsenal with, we did indeed claim world first on it. And so this mount is a memory of that. I still sometimes go back and watch that first clear, because while the encounter itself is...
The thing is that whenever you get into Baldesion Arsenal, you get... He said, well, we didn't know if we should take it seriously or not, right? Well, if you don't know, whenever you agree to go into Baldesion Arsenal, the game gives you a warning message that says... Warning, the Baldesion Arsenal is an unimaginably punishing duty. Even the entry conditions alone will not be easily fulfilled. An emerging triumphant will require teamwork, tenacity, time, knowledge, courage, strength, and, not the least of all, luck. Have you read and understood the warning? And if you click yes, then you can go. So that's why everyone was like, should we be scared? Like, should we be afraid of what we're about to encounter in
difficult here? There's always that energy about
they forgot Discord,
that, we might be the first people to clear it. We're actually going to get this done. We put all these hours into it. Not to mention the community effort that went into it. Shout out to Larry, who is an honorary world first, for sitting in the Eureka zone and asking people to please not grief the portals. I think they listened to him, and that's why we managed to get it. Now, number 2 is probably going to be one of the bigger surprises, because it is only on this list for an emotional reason. Number 2 is the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I don't even think that's what it's actually called. I have the game open right now.
It's actually just
called the Tyrannosaur? It's called the Tyrannosaur. Just the Tyrannosaur mount. Now, this is obtained from Eureka's Onimos inside of the lock boxes. Now, Onimos is kind of a rough thing for me to talk about. You know, I've made plenty of videos about Eureka, my thoughts about it, but I have sort of an emotional attachment to Onimos that is not the healthiest. What I mean by that is, around the time Onimos came out was when I had lost my father. You know, the patch had come out, but I flew out to New Jersey. I was with him for the final days, and then I had to spend the next several weeks, you know, spending time with my family, trying to organize all that, and focus on mourning and honoring his memory. When I came back to Onimos, which doesn't sound like the greatest thing to most people, but it was exactly what I needed at the time. It was content that was social, it was very community driven, and I was able to enjoy it with a breadth of people who were working on it simultaneously, who maybe also got into it late.
That's really what made Eureka fun at the end of the day. It was having a shitload of people all talking and chatting and hanging out together in the zone. Like, that's really what breathed life into this content, and I think that's the way that they had intended it to be. Yeah, in the beginning it was really a slog, and it was hard for me to get through it. I went back after they nerfed it, but I know that a lot of people had been enjoying it even back then, just because of how social it had become. Because like, you're in a group with people spending so much time going from notorious monster to notorious monster, and you have a lot of time to just chat and shoot the shit, pretty much.
Well, after 1,000 lock boxes I had obtained, I decided to open them, and I got 4 of them. Couldn't sell them, but I did indeed get it, and I had other people who said they hadn't gotten it yet. So for me, the Tyrannosaur kind of takes me back to that time where right after a really, really hard time in my life, one of the hardest things I still deal with to this day, whenever that time of year comes around, I can then think of the thing that gave me a bit of solace right after that. And while the Tyrannosaur isn't a particularly exciting mount, it does have that memory, even if I very rarely use it in game, as it's just as much something that makes me a little sad as it does brings me a little bit of joy. And
That's
finally,
really
we have number 1.
Damn, it just makes me think about how much this game is, like, how important it is to have a game like this, and how much it's done for so many people. You know, like, the game helped me through a lot this year. I don't know where I'd be without Final Fantasy 14 this year, and so, man, I'm like trying to share like how I feel like so strongly about that. Like, Final Fantasy 14 is a refuge and like a place to draw strength from when everything seems really shitty. But I paused it at a point when he's making a really funny face. It's distracted me a little bit. He's like, so I'm sorry. Okay, let's just move on.
And this one is also on this list for a very emotional reason, and it's also one I don't frequently use in game, and that is the fat black Chocobo.
Yeah.
Now, that might seem like a weird choice, but stay with me on this one, because for some of you, this may be a hell of a story. Sometime, what was it, in 2021? I think it was the summer of 2021. We were given the Fat Black Chocobo event over on Twitch.
Oh my god, this was a game changer. Holy shit. Square Enix, thank you so much for making this campaign. I honestly, like, streamers, we benefited so much from this. It was such a nice thing to do for streamers of Final Fantasy XIV, and it helped me so fucking much.
Select streamers were given the opportunity to, if people gifted 4 subscriptions
oh my god,
to
it was
your
such
channel,
a big deal
basically,
for me.
your channel became a hub in which people could obtain it by doing that. Now, Square Enix did select a few people for this. They were, I don't know what their selection process was, but they picked specific people, and that in and of itself was a bit of a controversy. However, I was one of those people, and I was being quiet about it at the time, but it was kind of a desperate time for me. After losing my father those years prior, and, you know, the memory I just explained for the Tyrannosaur, I had been financially helping my mother over the last several years.
It's probably the best thing that Square Enix ever did for creators was this event. Like, when I tell you it was a game changer, it was partially because of this event that they did that I was able to afford to be able to stay in Airbnbs for like 6 or 7 months after the war started this year. It gave a lot of us a little bit of financial freedom to be able to stand on our own feet for a little while. Like, without it, I would really be fucked.
It was kind of hitting a breaking point around the time that Fat Black Chocobo event hit, and I was probably going to have to do that fundraiser I did about a year sooner if what had happened hadn't happened. Now, it obviously didn't solve all my problems, but in a time of absolute desperation, the moment that event hit was something I'll never forget. Even before it hit, people were just jumping the gun a little bit here and there. People were trading me 4 submarine minions in-game as a little joke as well. But in the next 24 to 48 hours, I had over 20,000 subscribers on Twitch. That is not a normal thing. I don't think I'll ever replicate that unless there's another event like this. And all I could think in those moments was the same thing I was kind of thinking with the fundraiser that I ended up doing.
Damn.
In that I'm fucking saved. That's all I could think. It was like, I'm glad people are enjoying it. I'm glad people are supporting it. Yes, this controversy should be handled if they do something like this in the future. But at the same time, I have to think about myself for a moment. I'm fucking saved. I don't have to do that. I can provide these things. Now, obviously, that's not how the whole story goes. You know, there is, of course, the tax man to consider. And oh boy, the tax man came a-knocking. Oh, that was actually the main reason I had to run that fundraiser in the first place. Because once they were like, hey, we saw you made a lot of money last year. We're going to need a lot of that. And I'm like, don't worry. I made sure to get that taken care of. Nice and fairly, as much as I hated to see it go. But over the next year, I mean, anything my mother needed, I was able to provide for her. We didn't make much headway in some of the things that we probably should have. I just made sure that anything she needed, I was able to take care of her. And it eventually, you know, it came down to what it was. But really I don't think I've ever had a lifeline like that thrown. It's not very often in life.
They really did throw us a lifeline, man.
Especially right when you need it. When does that happen? I don't know. I don't think it'll ever happen again. I hope I'm never in that situation again. And again, after the fundraiser earlier this year, everything has been honky-dory for the most part. Dealing with a few other things if you've watched my mom update videos. But this mount, I mean, it has that kind of energy about it. Again, it's a little hard to use because it's still emotional.
I did not expect this video to be so moving. Like, it's actually such an emotional and touching video. It's so much more than like 5 favorite mounts, dude. Like, this is the stories of your journey in a lot of ways. And like, sometimes these mounts are just a reminder and a souvenir of like where you were at a time and what it means to you. And like for this one especially, I can definitely relate.
And
like,
look at it all.
Square Enix helped us so much with this event, and I
yes.
These things kind of go through my head.
Oh my god. Ryan of Avalon, thank you for the 50 gift subs. Holy shit, thank you.
But
oh my
in
god,
terms of its attachment to, excuse me, to me,
dude, I think
that one's at the very top.
Like, that almost makes me want to cry hearing him say all that, because like in a very deep and real way, I understand.
And by a landslide. So yeah, it's not the coolest mount. It's not a lynx or a dragon or a cute little serpent of Ronka or a Mikoshi or a shark.
Yeah, but it has meaning for
you.
Yeah,
and it's special to
meaning
me for reasons
you.
other than those things.
Oh my god.
That's my number one, the fat black chocobo.
I almost started crying in this video.
That's going to be a wrap for my top 5 favorite mounts.
MrHappy, what the fuck? We almost made me cry in your video. Top 5 favorite mounts. What the fuck? What? I was expecting it to be like, well, this one's a big flex. Demi Ozma's a flex, and the Corpicore is pretty cute. He caught me off guard. He hit deep with that one. Shit. It was really great, though. I really enjoyed hearing the stories of like your memories with the game and the journey that you've been on. And
14 and why. Maybe I make a separate list where I go over the ones that I actually think are the coolest, but
damn,
these I kind of do think are the coolest, just not for the reasons why most people would. I also
Woo.
don't have this kind of attachment to minions at all. I like them, but I don't have this kind of attachment to them. I just like my Apkalu. That's really
the internet said MrHappy's supposed to be toxic. But I'm way more toxic than MrHappy. Oh, wait, I mean... wait.
Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share.
Dude.
And don't forget, after November 1st,
great
I'll be getting
video.
the Melee Versus out, hopefully within a week or two. It's going to be a really busy game release time, but that's what I'm hoping to have done. In fact, I'll have it done before November 1st, and then I'll release it if there's no changes, and then I'll make changes if I need to after we get some job adjustments. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video, and until then, take care.
Damn.